Hi, I'm Dr. Shikha Sharma, and today I'm going to be talking about a very important thing, which is the rising cancer incidence and how you can protect yourself in time. Now, the first thing is that we all know that cancer is rising in the society, in the community, all over the world. The rising incidence of cancer does not mean that you have to wait for cancer to strike. There are ways and means how you can protect yourself provided you know few things about cancer and cancer protection. So this entire video I'm going to try and explain that how you as an individual can protect yourself from cancer. Now in the previous video, if you have not watched that video, I have spoken about why cancer is rising in the society, why cancer is rising in the community. So in case you haven't watched that, please do watch that because you will understand the context of cancer. In this video, I want to talk about the next step, which means how to protect yourself from cancer. So the first thing is, when we talk about cancer, cancer does not develop overnight, meaning it's not that overnight cancer cells will invade your body. Like when we talk about a viral infection, overnight you get an infection and you show the symptoms and you get a viral fever or a viral diarrhea or viral illness. In cancer, it's not like that. In cancer, it starts slowly, insidiously. Initially, just few cells are getting damaged and they're getting repaired. So there is a damage, there is a repair, there is a damage, there is a repair. But in the blood, it is showing that there is a stress on the body and these cells are continuously getting damaged and they have to be repaired. So initially, it shows a stress condition. Then gradually, when we don't know and we don't know what is happening, this converts into some mutant cells. Again, we don't know, we continue with our lifestyle, we continue with whatever we are doing, and these mutant cells then start multiplying, and still we don't care. We go about our lifestyle, and then these mutant cells start forming early signs of cancer, very early signs of cancer. But this entire phase is almost 10, 12 years, sometimes 20 years. Unless, of course, there is cancer which is directly linked to some chemical in your immediate environment, some factory or some process where you are especially. But I'm leaving that out because that's not what general public faces. I'm talking about general public. So this is a time period, and it's a very large time period when you can protect yourself and change the course of your destiny, change the course of your life. Instead of going and becoming a cancer patient, you actually change your course and not allow the cancer to form in your body. And this has to start here rather than here. So, what I'm trying to say is that today I'm going to be talking about what are those things which you can do, or what are those things which either increase the risk of cancer or reduce the risk of cancer. So, what are those things which can reduce the risk of cancer? And I'm going to start with something which you would have never thought of, which you would not even think can be connected to reducing the risk of cancer. So, when cancer forms in that area, it is low oxygenation area, low oxygen area. It's an anaerobic environment, low oxygen. So, which means that in pockets of your body where there is low oxygenation, any disease can attack, including formation of cancer. or cancerous cells. It's still not become a cancer tissue, but just few cancer cells because it's a low oxygen area. So when we talk about protecting yourself from cancer, it is not about a magic pill 1 or a magic pill 2 or a magic pill 3. That mindset you have to come away from. That magic pill for cancer, magic pill. No, it is those cancer reducing activities which you have to do every day so that you don't get cancer. And I'm going to repeat it because it's so critical and important for you to know. Every day you have to do some cancer reducing activities so that cancer does not affect you. So, like I said, that when there is low oxygenation, there is a risk of cancer which increases. And why does it increase? Because oxygen kills bad cells, deformed cells, low quality cells. Like when cars are formed or when products are made, there's a quality seal, quality check. So the body also has a quality check system. And that quality check system keeps removing cells or tissues or not tissues really, but cells which are malformed or badly formed, or let's say they're mutant cells. And this activity, the removal activity or neutralization activity is done by oxygen molecules. Oxygen is a very powerful anti-cancer agent. Now, when you are not breathing correctly, you are creating pockets in your body where oxygen is not reaching adequately. And therefore, the techniques of breath work are so critical for reducing the risk of cancer. Because breath work teaches you to get the maximum oxygen from your environment into the each cell of your body. And these techniques are high pressure breathing, differential time breathing, and all of them are part of breath work connected with yoga. So if you scientifically understand all the breathing exercises connected with yoga, they're basically techniques to drive oxygen into the deepest part of your body, into the deepest layer of your body, which you normally don't do when you are sedentary or when you're sitting or you're just doing your normal work. These are very specialized techniques, but you have to learn those techniques and practice them every day to drive oxygen into all parts of your body. So that is number one, cancer risk reduction technique. The second technique, which is very important, is different techniques to move the fluids in your body. Now, when we talk about fluids in the body, we talk about only blood. No, there are other fluids also. There is synovial fluid. There is fluid which is surrounding uh, your entire spinal cord, which is called cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. So the cerebrospinal fluid is basically surrounding your entire spinal cord. And this fluid also has to move. It has, wherever there is no movement, there is stagnation, there is deterioration. Always remember, whether it is in nature in a pond or whether it's your body, things have to move. So this spinal cord, there is a cerebrospinal fluid which is surrounding it, bathing the spinal cord, which has to move, and the spinal cord has to move. And this flexibility, which you talk about, flexibility is not just for feeling flexible, it is also to move this fluid. Similarly, for the synovial fluids, joints, when the joint fluid doesn't move, it starts having problem. So when we talk about exercises, it moves the blood, it moves the plasma, There are valves in the calf muscles which move the blood up, move the blood down. So there is continuous movement happening in the body of fluids. So technique number two is when we do different yogic asanas for the spinal cord, for the stretching, for other exercises, plus we do other exercises, it is not just for losing weight, it's a very limited understanding of exercises we have, which is weight loss. Actually, it's also to bring movement to all these fluids which need movement in the body. That is number two. If you want to really reduce the risk of cancer, you need to get these fluids moving, because these fluids are not just fluids, they are not just like water, they are cellular intelligence at work, and the cellular intelligence need to be dynamic for it to function well. It can't be stagnant. The third thing which is very important in reducing the risk of cancer is emotional wellness. Now when we talk about emotional wellness, we forget that emotional wellness is a science, and like any science, you have to learn the techniques to be emotionally well. Now, if you have to learn the techniques of being emotionally well, who will teach you those techniques? Because they're not taught in school, they're not taught in colleges, they're not taught in institutions or corporates. So, those emotional wellness techniques you have to learn and practice. It's not just about information. A lot of people have a lot of information. I think today everybody knows what's healthy, what's not healthy, but nobody practices it because nobody is putting information into action. So, which means that emotional wellness techniques you have to learn and you have to practice it. We all know how damaging stress can be. And stress is also a learned response, or it is a response where actually we haven't learned. It's like when you drive a car, and if you don't know how to drive a car, you will crash the car. Similarly, if you don't know how to manage your emotions, you will crash your emotions. So emotional wellness techniques is a skill which has to be taught. Once you are taught, you can you can balance yourself. Mind, body, emotion balance can come, and that skill helps you. A lot of cancer patients report that they went through a negative phase in their life, and after a few years they discovered they had cancer. There is a mind body connection. Enough researches have been shown to prove that there is a mind body connection. So if there is a mind body connection, that means you have to learn the techniques, because you cannot avoid negativity. You can only manage and transmute negativity into neutrality and ideally positivity. So, which means those emotional wellness techniques have to be learned for you to prevent, reduce the risk of cancer. Now we come to nutrition. Now, like I've maintained and spoken about in each and every video, that your body is made of food, and I think that's a fundamental truth we must understand. Each cell of our body is made of food, and unless and until each cell of our body is we don't understand that it's made of food, we'll not be able to give the real importance, focus, or priority to what we are eating. Mindless eating leads to many diseases, including cancer. When I say mindless, it means not caring about the quality of food, not caring about the combination of food, not caring about the timing of food, not caring about whether that food is suiting you or not. So, mindless eating means you're just putting anything in your mouth, good, bad, ugly, without realizing that all of it is the raw material to form your body. Your body is made of food. And once you get that, once you understand, for example, if you're running a car, if you have a petrol car, you will not put diesel because the car will stop. If you have a brick house, you will not repair with plastic because it will fall apart. If you have an iron bridge, you cannot repair an iron bridge with cotton. So what I'm trying to say, or plastic. So what I'm trying to say is that if your body is made of food, what kind of ingredients you're putting inside will eventually show up either as a cancer, or as a diabetes, or as a cholesterol, or as a fatty liver, or as some other problem. So nutrition is very critical, both for preventing cancer and also from recovering and healing and repairing your body post cancer. Both are very important so that you don't have a relapse. And what kind of nutrition is very critical. And I'm sorry to say, it's not so basic and so limited as proteins and carbs. No, because people only understand nutrition, this much protein, this much carb. No, it is about understanding the nitty gritties of the deeper science of nutrition, how food behaves in the body, how food combines and doesn't combine. So, nutrition is not limited to just proteins and carbs. Nutrition is the science of building a body, the science of creating a body. And that is why it is the most important science you have to understand if you want to prevent cancer or prevent a relapse of cancer, which is secondary prevention. And then I would say what is very critical is some tests which can tell you early risk factors. I'm not talking about cancer detection, that is much later. I'm talking about tests which tell you early detection of just rising risk, and both are different. When you do cancer detection, it means cancer has already happened and it's been detected. That's a late test, 5-10 years later. Early tests are those tests which tell you that your risk has gone up. Cancer is still not there, but your risk has gone up. Those tests are also available today, and that is why it's important to do those tests also. So now, if I want to just give you a synopsis of what cancer protection means a risk assessment, that you are at risk through a blood test and through a questionnaire. Number two, understanding nutrition not just as a uh, calorie or protein, but understanding nutrition as food as medicine and food as prevention, which are totally different. It's basically what your body is made of. Then emotional wellness and learning those techniques, movement, learning techniques of movement so that your body is energized, oxygen and breath work, and combining all these together is in actuality cancer protection. So in the next video, I will pick up each one of them and help you understand how you can choose better so that you can reduce your risk of cancer. The good thing is that in modern times, cancer is called a lifestyle disorder, which means you can protect yourself from cancer. You don't have to be scared. And if you do it early enough, you will not get cancer. Cancer is not just a bad news. Cancer is just a bad lifestyle. So let's start by understanding it, facing it head on, and making those lifestyle changes now so that you don't get it in the future.